And good afternoon. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the World of Money. I'm Sabrina Lamb, the founder and executive director of the World of Money, a 16-year nonprofit that's headquartered in New York. And we've using this space, have created this space to introduce you to international and global movers and shakers and visionaries. And I personally like the space because even though we serve at World of Money ages 7 to 18, in this space, I get to interact with adults. So joining us here today, all the way from Accra, Ghana, she's the only person that I know who was personally asked by two presidents of African countries. She's an international gemologist, worldwide marketer of precious metals and gems, a business developer advisor, public affairs expert, government relations specialist. Please welcome, all the way again from Accra, Ghana, Miss Brenda Joyce. Hello, Brenda.
Hi, Sabrina. How are you? It's good to see you again.
No, it's amazing. I'm so glad to see you as well. You have such a fascinating life story. And I was thinking about this as like so we met in Accra, and if there was a movie made about your life, who would star? And by the way, I'm busy, so don't ask me. Okay.
Well, that blew my first choice. I would guess I would have to settle for someone like Angela Bassett or someone.
That's that's a really that would be an amazing choice. Now, when I'm
Yeah.
telling people about your life's work, no one knows, very few people know what a gemologist is. What is
Mm.
a gemologist?
A gemologist is a person that's trained specifically to deal with precious metals and precious gems. And can be on various levels. You can be a trader, you can be a jewelry designer. There's many different ends of the business, but that's basically what a gemologist is.
Okay, so you are an American citizen. You have dual citizenship, American and Ghanaian. You're
I
originally from
do.
you're originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. What
Yes, I am.
But what was the aha that you said in the 1990s? I think it was 1996. I'm moving to, first it was South Africa.
Well, I guess it kind of evolved. I didn't start out with a plan to either be a gemologist or to move to South Africa. Those weren't goals of mine, but I had been traveling to Africa in a number of, as a consultant, lobbyist, a federal lobbyist to a couple of African countries, namely Nigeria and Liberia, were my first two clients when I left the corporate world and started working for myself. And all the time when I would come into one of these countries, particularly Liberia, there would be people sitting around the hotel waiting for someone to bring them some stones, some diamonds across the mountains or across the river. And the schedules were never matching up. And it got me kind of interested in the business, though. And I said, one of these days, when I'm ready to retire, then I think I'm going to look into being involved in the diamond and gold business. So that led me to begin to watch the business. And I said, oh, the end that they're in, that's not the really business. That's not the business that I see going on Fifth Avenue and at all of the high-end jewelry stores. I'm going to have to go back to school, which I did at 55, to become a gemologist, and was certified in diamonds and in gold and precious metals with honors, and began my career trading diamonds in New York City. Simultaneous to that, President Mandela was released from prison and became the first president of South Africa. And for the first time, South Africa was allowed to market their products as a South African product. And one of his interests, I learned from reading their development program, was to expand the diamond and gold business to be able to include the portion of the population that had previously been excluded from the business. So I made some contacts and started marketing South African gold and diamond products in New York City under a the brand South African Diamonds and South African Gold. That was kind of the beginning of it. The second year of his presidency, President Mandela came to New York City, and they had several welcome events for him. And one of the events was the worldwide screening of the film Cry the Beloved Country. Yes. I bought a ticket, went to the screening. Afterwards, they lined the entire audience up downstairs, and it's this big, massive room. And to get a walkthrough and get to shake Mandela's hand, you had 3 seconds, if that long. You had a chance to say, "Hello, Mr. Mandela," and then the Secret Service took you by each elbow and moved you along. So I watched how this was going on, and I said, no, I want to talk to this man. You know, I have things that I have been marketing his products in the US for the past year, and there are a number of things that I have learned that information that wasn't available before because no one had marketed under a South African brand before. And he should know these things. So I didn't get in the line. I was standing on the side trying to figure out what would be the best strategy. Should I try to be the last person in the line, or should I cut the line, or what should I do? Yeah. And as I stood on the side and pondered this, he noticed me as the only person in the room who was not in the line. And he walked over to me and put out his hand and said, "Hello, my name is Nelson Mandela." And that's how we met. And of course, as soon as he said that, I had a lot to say. "Oh, Mr. Mandela, I'm so honored to meet you, sir. My name is Brenda Joyce, and I've been marketing South African diamonds and gold in the US, and there's so many things that I want to talk with you about, and blah, blah, blah." And he was really very interested in hearing what I had to say. I guess because he had not spoken to a person, particularly a person of color, who had the credentials and who was actively involved in marketing South African gold and diamonds in the US market, which was, of course, one of the major markets, if not the major market in the world for precious metals and gemstones as a consumer base. So we talked for about 20 minutes. And at the end of the conversation, he said, "I want you to move to South Africa." And I was shocked. I wanted to visit South Africa, but I had never thought of moving there. Right. So I moved there thinking I'd be there for a year, 2 years, and 16 years later.
And 2 passports later.
Well, the second passport came after that, but okay. I was in South Africa for 16 years.
Yeah. So, I just hope that all of our listeners are attendees. And by the way, if you have any questions for Miss Brenda Joyce, who's joining us from Ghana, she's an international gemologist. There's as you said, that Madiba Nelson Mandela, he had never met someone of African descent that was in this business in a business way, as opposed to a consumer. And then when you talk about the global, or we examine the global controversy regarding access to diamonds and how diamonds are, used. I mean, that's a revolutionary step. And the fact that he had that vision, and the current president of Ghana, they want the resources to remain, because that's where they are. They're in their countries, they want them to remain there and to own those distribution streams. Is that are we on the same page with that?
That's it, exactly. They want, and Mandela wanted, and this president of Ghana, President Akufo-Addo, wants more of the processing of the minerals and creating of byproducts to remain in the country rather than the minerals just being exported in their raw form. And of course, that will help boost the economy of the countries that the raw materials come from, and be good for the labor base and for everybody, for Africa.
Right. And Brenda, you founded the first Black-owned high-end gold and diamond jewelry shop in South Africa. Pioneer, visionary, was housed at the Hyatt Hotel there. Share your experiences navigating this industry where no woman has gone before.
Well, when I first went there, I didn't start with a jewelry shop. I started with a trading office. I opened a trading office in the Johannesburg Diamond Center, which was actually a revolutionary move. I didn't know it at the time, but those around me let me know very soon that I think the first comment that I got when I went to the restaurant within the Diamond Center, someone walked up to me and said, "Who are you and what are you doing here?" And I said, "My name is Brenda Joyce. I'm a diamond trader." "No, you're not." I said, "I beg your pardon? You're a Black female. You're not a diamond trader, but diamond traders are not Black females. So what are you doing here? Who are you?"
Wow.
So I gave the person my card and told them what suite I was in, and suggested, I said, "Why don't you come down to my office and let's see if we can do some business?"
Yeah.
Which of course he didn't. But there was a lot of animosity just because I was there. At that point, there was one South African Black male who had offices in the Diamond Center in Johannesburg, and nobody else Black. So there was no place for the young jewelers to show their wares. They started some diamond schools, training people how to design using diamonds and gold. But they couldn't sell. They couldn't get their products to market. Again, the marketing experience and background came to the fore. And I started representing these young artisans who were just emerging from the economy. And in order to have a place to market them from, and also to do my own market research, because there wasn't any such thing as market research for this group of designers, to the consumer base that we were just developing as well, I opened the jewelry shop, which was named First World, the Jewelry of Africa.
Wow.
And from there, I showed the jewelry of young South African artisans, and interestingly enough, Ghanaian jewelers as well. The walls were covered with kente cloth. I mean, at that point, I was well into my Africa experience, girl. I mean, I was gone.
Well, listen, I would have been gone when Nelson Mandela said move to South Africa. So
I was gone then too.
Yeah.
It blew me away.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I had some partners in the U.S. who shared my vision, and they enabled me. We all need enablers.
Absolutely. And you then went on to develop the first Mandela gold coin, which is still being sold by the Reserve Bank of South Africa. Do purchasers tend to be retail customers or collectors? Yeah.
Collectors of coins tend to be just that, collectors. Although for a bullion coin, a coin that's made of pure gold, like some of the Mandela coins are bullion coins, some of them are medallions. The difference between a coin and a medallion is that a coin is legal tender, whereas a medallion is not. It's classified more as jewelry because it's not currency of the realm.
Okay.
So I introduced this concept for a Mandela coin, and at that point, South Africa didn't realize how big a worldwide icon Mandela was. They had no idea how big he was to the world and no idea of what his marketability was in various forms. So I brought that with me from New York, and in 2000 introduced and tried to get the industry support of a Mandela medallion that would have a live smiling Mandela on it, which was also a departure from tradition, because usually when you use the image of a head of state on a coin, usually it's a bust. So the person is dead. There's no life to the image. And of course, Mandela was the sitting president, very much alive, dancing all over the place with his wonderful expression. So my coin had the Mandela smile, and he was wearing a Madiba shirt, not just the traditional button downs look, that image that was usually used on a coin featuring any head of state. And it usually happened after he'd been dead for a long time.
Fascinating.
So
I was going to say, for everyone that's joining us, if you have any comments or questions, please put those in the chat. We're joined by Brenda Joyce, a global gemologist. Brenda, and you have so many fascinating, experiences in your life. But in 2003, you were invited by the Republic of Ghana to serve as a consultant to the Ashanti Goldfields company. Are there many African countries that are becoming more focusing what your work has been on retaining their natural resources? And how has this focus changed over the last, let's say, decade?
There are a few. It's very difficult to make the transition. Of course, there's a lot of resistance to it from the outside as well, because you're really creating competition for the current industry, who is dependent upon feeder stock from the raw materials from Africa, and doesn't particularly want to see them able to produce and compete. And then there's internal problems as well, challenges I will call them. First, you have to have a refinery that's capable of refining the goods in country, that also meets certain worldwide standards, and can be on a path to receiving certification by the international bodies that certify refineries and mints and currencies and all of those things. So that's been the first challenge. There's one being built now that is wholly Ghanaian owned, and that's the company that I am presently consulting to. That's Gold Ridge, Ghana. So yes, it's quite a challenge.
And we have a couple of questions from Sharon Lopez. She's asked, would you suggest investing in one of the coins? And is cryptocurrency catching on in Ghana or the African continent?
Cryptocurrency certainly has a market. It's more technology than it is gold, because they're really just beginning to back some of the cryptocurrencies with gold. Before that, there was nothing behind them. So there was, they represented a greater risk than they do if they're backed by something. But now a number of companies are starting cryptocurrencies that are backed by gold, and that really has more to do with technology than it does with the gold industry other than the acquisition of the gold that backs the cryptocurrencies.
And Brenda, what is social conscious mining, and why is that important?
Well, you know, there's a fair trade movement that's been going on in the world for, I would say, at least a couple of decades. And it's taken a while for the fair mining component of the fair trade movement to really get started. But there's been so much negative publicity, as you say, about harm to the environment, about the labor conditions, about how disruptive mining is to everything from the labor force to the profits made from gold to just all through the supply chain. It's been very, very negative. So the fair mining movement attempts to address a number of those issues and provide safe, secure, improved mining of minerals on the African continent, although it's a worldwide movement. It really started in South America, but now it's very active in Africa. And there are certain companies and countries, but particularly companies, that buy in on the principles and make sure that they do their mining under the principles of good socially conscious, socially aware mining of the raw material.
Mm-hmm. That's it's a fascinating industry that I think is often overlooked. And particularly young people don't know about careers or business opportunities as a gemologist. And so the next step, and you've just so many things that we are trying to fit in during this talk. Brenda's going to be with us during our Born Rich global forum on Saturday, May 1st. So we hope, and I'll put the link in the chat, that you all can join us. Women from around the world will share their expertise from South Africa to the UK to Ghana and the United States. But Brenda, so you also were invited in 2003 by the Republic of Ghana to serve as a consultant. And you also created a gold coin in Ghana commemorating the year of return, correct?
Yes, I have. That's been recent. The year of return was 2019. And it was just a phenomenal event that I know will go down as a significant milestone in African history. Several other countries since then have taken up the mantle and are inviting their diaspora to return to their homeland and see if there's a way that they can fit in or contribute or learn more about their history, just finding how they can plug in more to their African root. So the image you see was the launch when I presented the first medallion to President Akufo-Addo. And we are now actively marketing it via the internet from our website.
And so the marketing of it, so how can what's the website that we can purchase a coin? And what is the return on that investment? It's more than symbolic, right, or commemorative.
Well, it sells as jewelry, and we're doing it in several sizes so that there's a price point that's available to almost every pocket. The smallest medallion is a 1/10 ounce, and that sells for about $245, somewhere around there, all the way to a 5 ounce, which of course sells for much more. They're 24 karat gold, pure gold, certified, and very beautiful, a wonderful heirloom, a wonderful thing to be able to keep. or to pass on to your children, your grandchildren. We're also coming out with a jewelry line, which will be launching very soon. We have an American jeweler who is creating an incredible jewelry line with the medallion as the centerpiece. And that's going to be available to purchase as well very soon. The website is AfricanHeritagePreciousMetals.com.
Would you repeat that?
AfricanHeritagePreciousMetals.com.
And in the remaining time, 4 minutes that we have, Brenda, could you just share with everyone what are the business opportunities in the gem industry, and where's the door to access? And what about the careers? I'm thinking of young people who have no idea. Many don't even know about Wall Street, and definitely not this industry. How do you begin?
There are schools that you can go to schools. There's a Gemological Institute of America that I went to. So you can start by finding, everything is available on the internet. I'm sure in the 25 years since I went to school for gemology, I'm sure there are a number of more options than I had at that time. But and careers, I would say that most people who go into gemology become jewelry designers. But there are schools you have to get certified. There's a lot of lab work, and it's not easy to be able to grade a diamond. When we buy them as consumers, the grading is all done. We don't necessarily understand the grading system, but it's really all done for us, and the grade relates to the price. But it's an ancient career. I mean, it's been around formally or informally for years, as long as diamonds have been mined. There have been people who have been functioning as diamond cutters, diamond traders, who may not have had the certification of a gemologist, but functioned in those capacities.
So let's focus on that term. It's an ancient career, or it's an ancient asset. And it feels as though we often ignore everything that is ancient, that's staring us in our face, that have long-term value. We go for the new trinkets as opposed to the precious metals that are under our feet, the real estate, the land. Could you talk more about the ancient and that's where the wealth is, right? It's not the get rich quick. That's where the real wealth is for those who harness that information.
It's exactly. And no matter how much you study in a classroom, these are also industries that you learn from in apprenticeships. Somebody has to decide to do business with you. And after you have learned everything you can from the book, you go into the lab, and then you go into the workshop. So it's very much depends on the laying on of hands from one person to another, who ultimately it winds up with personal instruction received from someone who has done it for a number of years. There's no way to cut corners. And I think because
Yes, we don't want to, put in the time, Brenda. Can we get
that can be a problem. That can be a problem. And many times we're not thinking about what we're going to leave our grandchildren. We just want to try to stay alive to see them.
Yeah. So in the 30 seconds that we have remaining, and again, Brenda's going to be joining us on May 1st for our global conversation for women. And yes, we will have a global conversation for men in June. But what are some parting remarks would you like to share with everyone? And again, repeat that website if they would like to invest in the gold coin of return, the year of return gold
Yeah.
coin in Ghana.
Yes. Well, the website is AfricanHeritagePreciousMetals.com. AfricanHeritagePreciousMetals.com. This is the first of several products that we will be creating, that all of which will celebrate the African heritage of the African diaspora through celebrating its highlighting events and people of importance, and we have a lot of things in store. So it's good to get in on the ground floor. Uh, uh, the gold that when I started creating medallions 20 years ago, gold sold at $300 an ounce. Today it's worth $1,800 an ounce.
Right.
So, and it always goes up, even if it goes up a little bit and down a little bit, it marches up. And the high price so far has been $2,003 per ounce, which was a few years ago. But now many experts say that it's going to go before much higher than that. So, but whatever you buy it for, the gold is going to increase in value over a period of years.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We've been joined by the queen of the gemology industry, headquarters in Accra, Ghana. And she's often and always sought by heads of states. And we're so honored that you were here with us today. Continue to inspire, and you're always welcome here at the World of Money. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.